Hello there. Hi, y'all. I am Cheryl Abram, and this is my Everyone Deserves an Epiphany channel. Yes, that's pronounced Epiphany. So, welcome. So, today I am this is a companion piece for something that I've written about my mentor experience while in the federal government. So I'm just going to go through and give you, a couple bullet points. And once the written article is out, I will post a link in this video, so you can go and read that. So first of all, as many of you already know, I am a former federal employee. I was in the federal government for about close to 17 years, 16 and a half, something like that. They add your military experience in there. So, those numbers are a little weird. So I went into the federal government right after I finished my master's degree in social work at Catholic University of America. Didn't really know what the PMF program was, but my my counselor in college told me about it. Actually, he announced it in class. He's like, well, the Office of Personnel Management has this program. It's called the Presidential Management Fellowship. They're having a assessment center on this day. And if you want to go, I got a little bit more information, but it had never, ever occurred to me to work for the federal government. Never. Even though I was living here in Northern Virginia, I was going to school for social work. Okay. Never had it crossed my mind that the federal government could be an option. All right. But it sounded interesting, and I love assessment centers. Okay. I love being judged. So I went, it was an all day affair. Now, this is when OPM did it. Like, you had to go there. Right now, I think it's primarily like online or something, and not just because of Corona. I think even before then, it was they were moving towards online to save money or whatever. But no, we were there in person, okay, for this assessment center, which was practically all day. It was a lot of fun. I really had no expectations. I didn't. I barely knew what it was, but I liked that kind of thing. So when I got selected, like, I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised. Like, here was another option. And when I found out that I was selected, I actually had an interview with a nonprofit. It's a local nonprofit, around where I work. So I ended up not going to that interview. And I moved forward with the PMF program. Now, I was going to school to be a social worker. Okay. It was macro social work. So I was very much interested in policy. Okay. And supervisory type things. So my practicum were at places like the United Way of the National Capital Area, where I had a bird's eye view of a lot of the different nonprofits around here, okay, and the things that they did, and I helped, distribute the money and all that stuff. But I've always kept my foot in the nonprofit world, always. So my first interview was at the General Services Administration, okay, and I remember the HR director asking, okay, so what is a social worker going to do here again, But, we talked it out and stuff. So we finally decided, I don't know. I think I went on other interviews. I don't remember what agencies they were, though, but I ended up picking GSA, and they ended up picking me. So I started there in staffing and classification, hated it, hated it from the very beginning. And then I was told, hey, well, there's a place in training. They're like, you want to go there? I was like, sure. And I went there and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was like in line with everything I'd been doing in social work, the logic modeling and the self-determination, people train, all that stuff, right? I just brought everything I'd learned in school to training. But the issue was where I was, and not GSA in particular. It was like federal, because what I expected was to be welcomed with open arms. Like, oh, okay, here's this person. She has this and she's in training. We want to hear the ideas she has. And, I was really gung-ho and just ready to It's federal service, which to me was close to what social work was. You know, I was still serving the public, you know, and I got there and it was like somebody put the brakes on. Like, okay, slow down. Like, we don't do things like that here. We don't do that here. Okay. So I became, from this, you know, this level of excitement and wonder and hope and, you know, all the stuff they talk about with federal service, to just being dulled. It was like, you know, when I got there, the volume was up high, and, you know, I was like, and then it just kept getting lower and lower and lower. And I'm like, well, what am I doing here again? You know? And with the PMF program, they have mentors a part of that. So I had a mentor, but it was my supervisor, you know, and I was like, it feels kind of weird, you know, me telling my supervisor that my supervisor is, you know, not doing what she's supposed to do, or seems, you know what I'm saying? So I really could not be honest and genuine with my mentor. And what's the use of mentorship if you can't do that? You know? So I ended up finding my own mentor. I went onto the GSA website and I saw SES. I really was not, I knew they were executives, but I wasn't like clear on the politics of SES, you know, in government. I was new to government. I really didn't know a lot, you know, and so I found an SES. I went to her office and we talked and stuff, and she was like, yeah, you know, sure. I wrote up a really nice email to her first saying who I was and that I was like a mentor and all that. And she was very kind and nice. But when my supervisor found out, apparently I had done something that was forbidden, you know, unbeknownst to me. I wasn't supposed to go directly to an SES member, but okay. So I was like, all right. So I had to find a different person. So I did. I went ahead and I sent, you know, another email to a couple of other people that I found on the website. And this one particular person, who's a GS-15, I mean, he was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, he had been in the government for a very long time. He was ready to retire, actually, like in the next 2 to 3 years. Okay. So, but he listened to what I talked about. He helped me to, he was like, okay, tell me what's going on. Now here's what you need to do. No, it was more of a coaching type thing. You know, he helped me to see other alternatives, other ways of interpreting what was going on. I mean, I really feel like it was because of him primarily that I was able to stick out all of my PMF program. It was a 2-year program. I think it's still like that now, but so I had another like 18 months to go when I talked to him, because I was ready to leave. I was like, this government thing is not for me. Okay. I made a horrible, terrible, terrible mistake. All right. When I said yes to government, I was like, I'm going back to what I originally was going to do, which is nonprofit, you know, put my resume out there. And because this is, I can't do anything here. You know, the first 2 weeks I was at the organization, my supervisor was walking around, didn't even know I was there. You know, I was like, this is totally not for me. All right. So, but, you know, I got my mentor, and it was amazing. He was great. You know, he really, really was. And I'm grateful to this day for him, because I really feel like if he weren't there, there would be no story of me in government for 16 years, because I would have been gone. Okay, I would have been gone. This would be a totally different video. I'd be a whole nother life, all kinds of things. Okay. But I stayed, you know, for the duration of the PMF plus, you know, 15 more years. All right. Now, towards like 2018, 2017, 2018, around that time, something happened. Okay. There was a shift that occurred with me that impacted everything. I mean, every single thing, everything. Things I'm not even aware of. Okay. It impacted, which included my professional life. Okay. What I was doing in government. So that it came to, I felt constricted in government. for those of you who work in government, federal government at least, I don't know if state and, all these things are like that, but at least in the federal government, from my perspective, okay, this, of course, is not everybody's story, but from my perspective, there are so many constraints on what you can do. And I actually came to believe and say that the federal government is where good ideas go to die. I've actually said that. If you have a good idea and you're trying to kill it, go work for a federal agency. All right. It sounds like a horrible thing to say, but it's true. From my experience, it's true. Not just my own ideas, okay, but other ideas that I've heard from other people, innovative, like amazing stuff that isn't even considered, that is barely heard, okay? But if whoever's in charge feels like, it's not politically correct, or it's not, or whatever that measuring, ruler is that they have, if it doesn't, line up to that, then you can forget it. You can forget it. That it started to stifle me. I couldn't breathe. I really felt like I was in this little box, okay, and I was getting claustrophobic. I couldn't grow anymore where I was in government, and a lot of it had to do with this shift that occurred. Now, what I did was to explain what that was, and I did this before I resigned. I was like, I have to write this down. Okay. Something is happening. Okay. I see what it is. I got to write it down though, and I did. And I called it Longing to Learn, Bringing a Sense of Delight and Freedom Back to Training and Development in the Workplace, because I worked in training and development. And at this time I was at the Office of Personnel Management. Okay. It's a short but powerful book. All right. That really explains what I was going through at this time. And what I realized was, this is what I was longing for. I was longing to learn, and I couldn't do it in the federal space anymore. Like I'd gone to a certain point, but up to that point where I was, it was not going to allow me to do that. Okay. It just wasn't going to allow me to do it because I was asking for too much. I was looking to go too far. Okay. So I felt stifled, and, I decided, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't work in the government anymore. Okay. And at that time, when I got really precarious about what I wanted to do, I was really withdrawing from my work and my team and all. And it was crazy because I had the best supervisor and the best team in the world. Okay. I'll put all my money on it in the world. I'm telling you, the best. I had no complaints about my supervisor, my team. The work I was doing was great, but something was missing. I didn't have enough room. I was doing all of that amazing, great stuff in a box that was too small. Okay. So, I wrote the book, and I began to talk to people. I, talked to some people in my family, not too much, because they, not a lot, just about general stuff. Like, I'm thinking about moving, changing careers. And at first it was changing careers. Okay. Suggesting I'm in this career now, next week I'm going to be in another career. Okay. There's going to be very little break in work and paychecks and all that. Okay. That's the way it was initially. I started talking to former colleagues that had either retired from government or left government or were at different agencies. Okay, that I'd worked with over the 15, 16 years that I'd been in, and who knew my work, and some of us talked face to face. I met some of them at coffee shops in DC. Some of them I just emailed, had video conference with those, especially those who moved out of state, from the DMV area. So I started trying to get a little, well, what are y'all, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I mean, it feels weird. I mean, it sounds ridiculous because this is a great job. I have a great team and I love it. And, but I felt like I'm asking for more when I already had a lot, which felt really selfish to me. It felt selfish to me to want to grow. Because I was seemingly getting everything that I needed, to be able to live and provide for my boys and, and all that. But it wasn't working out. Okay. Now, at the same time, I was doing work with a very good friend of mine. And like I said in the beginning, I've always worked in nonprofits. There has never been a time since I got my master's degree that I have not worked, volunteered to do some nonprofit work. Okay, so at this time, I was doing nonprofit work. I was reviewing proposals for a local STEM programs called Future Kings. Okay, and they were writing proposals to get money from different places, and I would help in the review and the writing of those proposals. Okay, well, the owner came to me and said, "Hey, I see that you have experience designing curriculum. Well, we want to start a cybersecurity program here for the boys." Okay, the nonprofit is for middle school underprivileged boys in the area. And I was like, okay, like I don't know a lot about it, but they have subject matter experts that I could work with. And the friend of mine who I've been going to work with, every day, he was in the cybersecurity field. So I actually got him connected with this nonprofit and said, hey, he does this kind of thing. I can work with him and whoever else you have, on creating this curriculum. So we started doing that. I started helping him study for an exam. We started doing the cybersecurity work, and I'm like, this stuff is interesting. And I know it. For some reason, I've never worked in cyber, but I know it. The only experience I'd had was that IT security training that we have to take every year, that boring training that you're just trying to get through so they don't turn off your computer. Okay. That was like the length of and that huge, humongous breach that OPM had, that was in the news all over the world. My kids got letters about, how their information had been. So I was like, okay, this is interesting to me. I like this stuff. Now, at this time, I didn't know that I was actually going to move into cyber, but it was at least interesting to me. Okay, it was kind of an option. All right. But, before I made even that decision, I still had to decide, what am I going to do with this federal job that I have? Like, how am I going to navigate this? Well, it got to the point to where I just couldn't. I couldn't anymore. Okay. I couldn't go to work another day. I could not pretend to be happy going to work. I was working, this is before Corona. I was working from home. Okay, making a really good salary, working from home every day, just going to my basement. I was the envy of thousands of people in government. Okay, with a GS-14 position. All right, I was miserable. I was so unhappy, and which it really did make me feel selfish. It made me feel really selfish. Like, Cheryl, who do you think you are? Like, all of this stuff you have a great position. You don't even have to go into work. You can be here with your boys and, make dinner when they come from school and all that stuff you've been talking about. And here you're still complaining, Yes, I was not happy. Okay. I was not happy. I did not have the room to grow. And that's what I needed. I needed the room to grow, and I felt imprisoned. Okay. I felt imprisoned, and I was not going to allow a salary and bills and what mothers are supposed to do and what federal employees are supposed to do. I wasn't going to let all that get in the way of my growth. Okay. Now I talk about that whole experience in a video I made. I'm going to pull up right here. This is a video I made on a year ago. It was like September or something. Was it a year ago? It says a year ago. Yeah. No, it was more than a year ago. It's more than a year ago, like 2018 or something like that. You'll see it when you go to the video. Okay, but this is the video I made, and this was the Sunday before the Monday that I turned in my resignation. I had decided I'm done. I'm finished. I can't do this anymore. Okay, I cannot. And so go ahead and look at, I'm quitting my job. I'm not going to die here. And that I'm not going to die here is very significant. Okay. And I don't mean die like a physical death. Okay. But you'll hear about that in this very short video. So yeah, I mean, I had to go. I was living a life, but the quality of the life I was living is not what I wanted it to be. And I knew that it could be more. I knew that it could be a better quality of life that I was having, even if, I had to take a pay cut, So then the narrative went from, okay, I'm changing careers from this. So I'm this week and next week I'm going to be working here. No, it was like, I'm quitting. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't have any paychecks coming in. I don't have any, no interviews lined up, nothing. It was nothing. I had nothing, it was like, okay, I turned my resignation. I don't know what I'm going to do now. There was a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, but the people, the support system that I had, including, the mentors and the individuals who were former colleagues who allowed me access to their networks, which was awesome, and amazing. All of these people were so supportive, and not telling me what to do, but assuring me that I could do it, whatever it was. Okay. And I knew that I had the skill and ability and the drive and the motivation and the desire to do what I didn't even know what it was, but I knew that I had all that. Okay. To be able to do it. Now I am super 100% absolutely grateful for everything that I learned in the federal government. I really, really am. It was, it's all valuable, all of it. And I am super grateful for where I am right now. Now I'm in cybersecurity. Okay. I have all kinds of experience, since 2018 or even before then, when I started working on the course for the nonprofit. And, I've been working with contractors. I've worked as a virtual cybersecurity information information owner, cybersecurity information owner. And I'm just, the field is so interesting. All right. And it's not just about hacks and breaches. All right. It's so interesting. I have so much room to grow. The idea space is just limitless. What I compare it to is discovering a new world. It's like we're in the days of pre-Columbus again, okay? Where we are actually discovering there is land in cyberspace. There is an equivalent of land in cyberspace where you can actually purchase, put your flag down and say discovered by, right? And that's your IP address, okay? IP addresses are like the space that land is in, okay? And you can actually own land in cyberspace. There is so much stuff like that, and it's for everybody. It's not just for cybersecurity professionals, okay? If you are looking at this video on a digital device, cyberspace is for you, okay? There is land there. There's land here, okay, for you. And it's all about knowing it and then getting all your equipment together to come and explore, okay? Getting your Nina, your Pinta, your Santa Maria, whatever you got, getting your crew together, your compass, all that, the equivalent, the cyber equivalent of all that stuff, and exploring and see where you want to be, how you want to build, and where you want to make your mark in the digital world. It's very exciting. I'm very excited. All right. So that's my mentoring story, and I today am a mentor to others. Okay. And for the same reason that I looked for a mentor, because I know that there's so much uncertainty, whether it's personal or career or both, and we just need people who have experienced it, or people who are willing to come along with us, on the journey until we are able to plant our flags and say, okay, you know what? This is where I want to be, and to make it just a little less scary. It's always going to be frightening, okay, when you get out there and really do what you feel you're here to do. That's just, it can be a very scary thing, but it doesn't have to be as scary if you have someone there with you, whether it's a family member or a friend or a colleague or a mentor or whomever, right? Someone there who is for you and for your success along with you. Okay. All right, y'all. That's all I have. And thank you so much for listening. And if you're not subscribed to Everyone Deserves an Epiphany, then go ahead and do that, because I do these kinds of videos here. If you're interested in cybersecurity, I have a Person-Centered Cyber. That's the name of my cybersecurity channel, Person-Centered Cyber. I'll put all that in the description as well. But thank you again for listening. And I will see you back here next time. Bye-bye.